Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I'm Braden. That's Tim. This is Second Legacy, and you are amazing for showing up. Thank you so much. This is an interesting one. We are about to dive into something that happened on Friday that not a lot of people really covered, but I think it bears repeating. Tim, would you believe that we had some very interesting gun control laws passed and accepted in Maine, but then some gun control vetoes at the same time? Well, I think this is a weird one, man.
I'm not up to speed on this one. I mean, I know that Maine passed a new law. I saw some scuttlebutt on the internet about that, but I didn't really look.
Scuttlebutt. Well, no, that's all good, man, because I'm going to bring you into the fold. We're going to have a conversation. If you guys are enjoying this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. Sarcasm and humor and around the two ways what we do. Let's get it. Tim, Maine, this state, let's do some backstory here. For those of you guys who aren't watching, Maine is fully controlled by Democrats. It was a target for all of the gun controlling groups over the past 6 months to get as much gun control as they could. So at a very high level, they were being lobbied to do red flag laws. Well, the governor said, we're not doing red flag laws. They were lobbied to do universal background checks. They said, we're not doing universal background checks. And then they incorporated some things around mental health, Tim. Okay, fine. Good. It's your state. You do you. I don't live in Maine. But here's where it gets really, really fascinating. There's a law in Maine that basically says the way that they accept new laws onto the books and become law is one of three ways. The governor either accepts it, signs it into law, vetoes it, and it goes back away, or it's just ignored completely and becomes law by default. Okay? So if she does not act, then it becomes law. If she signs it, it becomes law. And if she doesn't like it, it gets vetoed to the curb. All right? We had a law or a bill at this point that was passed, and it was all about a 72-hour waiting period. Okay? The Senate did it, and she never signed it, but she just let it just slowly become law by default. Okay? But that's not the story, Tim. The story is what she said about it and what she vetoed at the same time. All right, you tracking with me so far? Sort of. Okay, this is weird, right? So here's the story that we're going to cover. This is number 10. Governor Mills allows 2 gun safety measures to become law and vetoes one of them. So I said in the intro here that they allowed a 72-hour waiting period to become law for gun purchases. She vetoed the law that they passed to ban bump stocks, Glock switches, and conversion devices.
Wow. Interesting. I mean,
what?
So
isn't that weird?
Yeah, I mean, those are banned by federal law anyway. And
right.
So, but then this is, I hate it that they have that third option in here. That should not be allowed in our republic. It just simply shouldn't be. By not doing your job, the law becomes law, right? So
exactly,
if
the
I
bill
just
becomes
sit
law,
here,
right?
I don't have to put my name on it, so I have deniability in all this. Oh, it became law. I forgot that was there. It's like, no, if it's not signed by the governor, it doesn't go anywhere. It just dies. It should default to a veto, not default to becoming law.
Right.
That's insanity.
And I'm with you. It's stupid. And a lot of states have it. It's not just Maine.
I know.
A lot of states have that
laws
in there.
Allow politicians to wiggle out of their responsibilities.
Correct.
And that should not stand.
I completely agree with you. So this is one of the reasons that I wanted to cover this. Listen to this. I don't even know if this qualifies as fence sitting. Listen to what she said. Okay, this is number 12, Doc. On Monday, Mills said she is allowing a 72-hour waiting period for certain gun purchases, wait for that part, we're coming back to that in a second, to become law without her signature. However, she vetoed a bill that would change the definition of machine gun to limit their use and require that firearms used in crime would have been destroyed. The bill that was vetoed also could have banned conversion devices like bump stocks that make semi-automatic weapons operate like machine guns. So they're not destroying crime guns, which is a leftist wet dream. They are not changing the definition of a machine gun, and they didn't ban conversion devices. Listen to what she said was her concern. Are you ready for this, Tim? In the veto message for that same law, Mills said the bill may unintentionally ban weapons that responsible gun owners use for hunting or target shooting. That's all gun laws.
Yeah.
Every
Including
one of
the
them
one
has the unintended consequences.
including the one you just let become law. So she
Right.
admits that she's just letting it. Why are you just letting it? Why didn't you put your signature on it, sweetie? What's wrong here?
Right.
Clearly, you're worried about what the voting public thinks. That's why you killed
Yep.
off the other laws, right? You did that for political reasons. So you're also not
Correct.
signing the other law that you're just letting become law for political reasons. You need to be held accountable.
Correct. Exactly. Well, here's the exact quote. She said she is concerned that certain language in the bill could have a risk for unintended consequences after she let a 72-hour bill pass and become law, or 72-hour waiting period become law. Dude, you talk about talking out of both sides of your face.
I mean, there's heavy unintended consequences in 72-hour waiting periods. Ask any victim of domestic violence or somebody that has real safety concerns. Now they got to wait 3 days to get the blessing from the king before they can exercise their constitutional rights.
Exactly.
It's not supposed to work that way.
That's exactly correct. It's not supposed to work that way. But the way that she's just kind of going, the way she's going, well, we need 72-hour periods to prevent suicide, but we can have the machine gun ban. We don't need that ban because that's unintended consequences. And I'm like, 72-hour waiting periods are chock full of unintended consequences, like to your point, for all the victims.
Yeah.
Like every single woman or domestic violence victim has the now mandatory waiting period because, well, it's not her decision. Right? Like it's the craziest thing in the world. But again, we're going to go back to who's allowed to do this and who's not, because there's a special class created, Tim, because you know how we love special classes for our gun rights, right? You got to love it. Well, here's what she said to assuage the concern. This is number 14. In carefully considering all the arguments, again, this is about the 72-hour ban or 72-hour waiting period, I have decided to allow this bill to become law. I do so, however, with some caveats and concerns, and with the hope that it can be implemented to accomplish its intended goal of preventing suicide by firearm without overburdening our outdoor sports economy and the rights of responsible gun owners and dealers to engage in lawful and constitutionally protected activities. Okay. Why did you allow this? If that's truly your statement, if you're allowing caveats and you're allowing carve-outs and you're allowing special groups, but you don't want to burden the constitutionally protected activities, why are you letting this become law?
And well, at least now she has said her reason, I guess, is to prevent suicide. And how effective do you think that's going to be?
Not at all. Wait till you hear the carve-outs and wait until you hear the actual individuals who don't have to play by this rule, because they created that special class, which is a very leftist Chicago, Illinois, PICA kind of thing, assault weapons ban. So this is her big caveat and control, right? So this is what she said is she's doing to make sure everything's protected. This is 15. Governor Mills is asking the Commissioner of Public Safety and the Attorney General to monitor constitutional challenges in other states with similar laws to see how they're playing out.
So
tell me you know it's unconstitutional without telling me you know it's unconstitutional.
Yep, she knows. And she also knows because we've been fighting in the courts over bump stocks and FRT triggers and all that stuff. They don't make semi-automatics machine guns. They remain semi-automatics. They meet every definition of a semi-automatic, but that's why they're being challenged in court. We're probably going to win that argument. I'm hoping. It certainly seems to be to our favor. Right. And so it would appear that she's just concerned that she knows full well if she had jumped on the bump stock bandwagon that it would have not played out well for her in the courts. And so it's a political move.
But so she allows this 72-hour waiting period, which affects almost everybody in Maine. And then her big announcement is, hey, Attorney General, if you could watch the lawsuits on this one, because
she's playing both sides.
She's
playing both sides.
Come on. I know. It's like, come on. This is so
She
pathetic.
gave something to the anti-gunners and she gave something to the, pro-2A people.
That's exactly right. But listen to who's special, though. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. Who's the special people?
Okay. Who's the specials? Listen to the specials. Again, remember, this is about preventing suicides, right? That's what she said. This is number 8. This section does not apply to law enforcement officers, correction officers, a person who is employed by a contract security company or proprietary security organization. So corrections officers, law enforcement, and basically that special class who is more exposed and has more likelihood of depression because of the things they interact with, they're allowed to have no waiting periods, but the rest of the population, no. You can't. No.
Yeah.
No, we got the
They always put carve-outs for the government, right? You can't be trusted.
Isn't that weird?
And it's not like, I mean, police never commit suicide. That never happens.
No,
you know?
That's my point.
So,
they are higher risk than the population
because
is.
their job. So that they always do this. The gun grabbers always protect the rights of the state to arm itself against you.
Mm-hmm.
But you aren't to be trusted. The state,
right?
Let's arm the state. That's a good idea.
So
I know they always do this. I mean, that's not surprising to me in the slightest. Every time they do something, they make carve-outs for, they even make carve-outs for retired police officers.
Well, that's the same thing. At least.
But I mean, you're retired now. You're not even on the job. So why do you get a special treatment?
Well, but it creates a special class, which judges don't typically like.
Oh, they love
don't like certain people.
Judges love armed governments. It's
no, that's not what I said. I said special classes. That's
the special class
like.
Here is state actors. These are state officials. So,
and okay, in a roundabout, I'll give you that. So you ready for something else that you're just gonna love? Because all the thing I just showed you, this is what they said about 3 days before this became law. Are you fully ready?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, you're ready. This is in reference to the laws that they passed prior, that she actually signed a few days before this was allowed to just transpire into law. The governor's office said in a statement that the new approach, quote, will mean that transfers of firearms to family members or trusted friends, as is common in Maine, will remain unchanged. Wait a minute. I thought it was 72 hours for everybody. So how are they going to enforce something where a trusted friend or family member, do they have to go through a waiting period too? Because the law is written like every single transfer has to. So they're talking out of like 5 different sides of their face.
Right. They always do. I mean, again, she's a politician. She's trying to play both sides of the fence here. And that's what politicians do. In a fully Democratic controlled state, though. That's what's kind of weird about it. It is a purple state. But Maine is, and this goes to my point that there are no pro-gun Democrats left in D.C., but there are plenty of pro-gun Democrats left in the United States that are part of the voting bloc. Very true. So Maine is a very rural area, and hunting is huge in Maine. And if you start messing, and the AR-15 is America's top-selling rifle. And yes, they're used every single day for hunting in the United States. Absolutely. And so she's trying to appease them and appease the pro-gun Democrats that clearly have a loud voice in the state of Maine. And that's why she's playing both sides. And this just kind of goes again to my point that there are very much pro-Democrats or pro-gun Democrats out there. That point. That's the exact point. That, dude, I love it. We arrive at the same destination. It speaks to the weakness of the gun controllers nationally when they can't do a blue state like a rural blue state like this, when they can't get the universal background checks, when they can't get red flag laws, when they can't get everything that they want. It indicates there's a weakness in the everyday Democrats who do not agree with the leftist gun controlling agenda. That's exactly my point. And I think we're starting to see nationally a shift from those that, identify as Democrats. We're starting to see a shift of them to, of separating from the radical left because it's bringing them down. Yes, 100%. So we're starting to see the Democrats move more back towards the center and separate their affiliations with the far left lunatics that are literally destroying every major city in our country and just devastating national politics. Absolutely agree. So I absolutely and they agree. See that. And with everything that's going on in the news cycle, with all the unrest and stuff that's been going on in the country for the last 4 or 5 years, everybody's getting kind of sick of it. And almost all of that chaos is coming from the far left side of the house. So I completely agree. I think we are at the beginning of a moderation cycle. Yeah, that pendulum's starting to come back to the center and may even go further to the right. But I've said many times in the past, these radical shifts in politics, right or left, it causes problems. People just need to calm down and start talking to each other again and come back to a more moderate position. But when you're going out there, though, telling people you're going to take their rights away from them, their constitutionally protected rights, that pushes the pendulum further to the right because they're going to oppose those actions. Even further. So completely agree. I can't say that it's wrong, people's responses. I am far right on this political scale, right? I'm very conservative. So much so, I don't think the Republican Party is conservative enough for me. So, well, there's a reason we call them rhinos. Exactly. So anyway, Yeah, let us know what you think, folks. Do you think this woman's playing politics? I think that much is pretty clear, but let us know down in the comments. Thank you for watching Second Legacy, and we'll talk to you guys soon.